Welcome to our podcast. I'm Stacey Donadio.
And I'm Shannon Fasone from Turnkey Women,
where we're opening doors for women in business.
Cheers.
So welcome to the Turnkey Women's Podcast. We are your hosts, Stacey Donadio and Shannon Fasone. And today we have my very good friend. You may know her as the Monmouth Mom, Kate Santangelo.
Yay.
Hi. Probably not sitting close.
We're so excited to have you.
Very excited.
This time.
It is, we did a flip-flop.
We did a flip-flop.
I feel like I have the day off.
The Yoda.
So nice.
Wonderful. So good. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. It was like one of those weird, so in November 2023, I was sick like the whole month. I don't know if you remember.
Yes.
I like had the flu. I was like just sick, like congested. So I kind of thought I got it all out. Oddly enough, I've still, knock on wood, never had COVID that I know of. Like
Stop.
I've never had it ever. I think I'm the only person on the planet.
No, my mother. My mother's never had COVID, and she's
in like a petri dish of.
It's bizarre. So
That's crazy. Good for you.
I guess. I mean, like,
well, whatever she got this weekend, I don't know.
Oh.
So no, I still don't officially. I mean, I tested my daughter. So my daughter was sick last week. My husband was sick last week. And like, I just thought I got that. I woke up on Friday, like, I felt like the flu, but only in my head. Like my head was pounding out of like, I was like, what the hell? I felt like an alien invaded my body. It was so bad.
Sucks.
So then Saturday, same thing, worse. Sunday, I was just like pounding water, zinc, like everything. And then yesterday I was like, all right, I'm good.
Really? That fast?
It's weird.
You just woke up and it was like.
I mean, I still fat, like, but I like ran this morning. Like, I'm okay. But anyway, yeah. So yesterday we went to, because it was President's Day weekend, so we went to Monmouth Museum to salvage the weekend because I felt so guilty.
I did see that. The post was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to
They have such good stuff there. They do cute events.
Do they still change out the exhibits?
Yes.
Fairly
and that's
often?
what was fun about yesterday because Grace is getting older, so we were able to like check out the art and like really like take in the like what's geared more towards the older kids, which was nice. So I did a little bit yesterday. We like got some ice cream, but otherwise we sat on the couch all weekend.
I mean, that's not bad. Sometimes your body, like I think, infects you with something so that you take a few days to rest.
It was like, all right, Kate, if we have to make you sick,
yes,
that's how
it's going to happen, to sit you down for a minute.
Absolutely. Because you don't stop. And so let's start, I think, first. Shannon doesn't know your backstory.
I don't.
Oh.
I don't.
She doesn't know your origin story.
How were you born? Where? Tell us everything. What did the stars align? No. How did you become the Monmouth Mom? Which is like such a big, huge success.
Thank you. It's not, I mean, it's I guess an interesting story, but it's nothing like
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's an inspiring story.
So I was I wasn't always a single mom, but for the most part, I had my son when I was in college. And I was married for a short time. I got divorced when I was 23. I was most of my 20s. I met my husband when I was 29, but most of my 20s I was a single mom. And I, even in college, I guess in high school, I grew up in Monmouth County, so I always loved working in restaurants. I worked at Outback on 35 in Middletown, and I was kind of gravitated towards like the hospitality industry. I loved like working with people, and like I liked the hustle, and I just loved that you could meet like really anyone, and like we've talked about this, and just like have everyone eats, right? So like just all walks of life and different conversations you'd have with people, and like making their day great. And the other thing which is interesting about the hospitality industry is like you can have a good night, but you still have to like show up the next day and like recreate that experience again, right? Like you're only as good as your last night.
Right.
It's like what they
you have
used
to be
say
on
all the time. Right?
Yeah.
So. So that kind of evolved into me like wanting to pursue hospitality in college. Then I ended up having my son, and I still went like to the local community school when I was married, and started working like in restaurants again in Monmouth County. When I got divorced, I got into sales. My first like real sales role was Jock's Catering in
Middletown,
Middletown and Hazlitt, and they hired me for corporate catering sales. And that was an interesting time because I was 23 and they're like, do you know how to cold call? I'm like, sure. I didn't even I was like looking up what cold calling was. I'm like, cold calling.
And we didn't have Google.
No, I think we kind of did.
Did we have Google?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we did. But like, but there was the internet. But
are you sure?
Yeah.
That is a fuzzy question.
So I
What year was the internet born?
Yeah. So I was like newly, young mom. I was single, and like so I kind of like the only time I was able to really go out was for work related events, and I wanted it that way. Like I really liked being with my son, but I would go to like a lot of chamber events, like any networking event like I could go to, and I just loved like talking and meeting to people, and I would just go in and like I try to get a card from everyone in the room. So and then I learned a lot of marketing skills, I think, in that role, because they didn't have a newsletter at the time, so I started like doing a lot of that for them. Then I decided to, I think I went back to school for a little bit. I was still like working on the weekends, like bartending and stuff, and just like trying to figure out my way. When I was working in one of the restaurants, I was like doing event coordination and management at this restaurant in Bernardsville, and a lot of the wine sales reps used to come in and, to taste wine, to get their wines on the list. So I started chatting with one of them, and I was like, what's your schedule like? Because at the time I was like assistant managing this restaurant, working weekends. My son was in kindergarten, like just that like
Hustle.
Yeah, and it
Nonstop,
sucked.
yeah.
Like I remember I had off on Tuesdays, and I worked for this guy who like I put on such a pedestal at the time. It's funny, like I hope that we get a chance to talk about this one day at the summit, because like the things that you do in your 20s, like thinking that it's going to like get you somewhere, and like the pleasing that you do for like certain like leaders, that is like not good for you at all. And I just remember like I asked off for like my son's like Christmas pageant. It was a Friday night, and he gave me such a hard time about it. And like in hindsight, I should have just been like, okay, well, this is not like good,
This is happening.
Yeah, this isn't, yeah.
Right.
But he did let me go. But I remember coming back the next day, and he's like, did you enjoy your Friday off? And I was like,
wow.
You just kind of,
Passive aggressive.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so, I was working there, and I started talking to this rep, and he was like, yeah, it's great. I work pretty much like 9 to 5, not 9 to 5, but like, business hours essentially, and like some nights and stuff like that. And obviously, in sales, it was a much more lucrative industry
Sure.
back then than it is now. So I got into wine sales. I did that for about a decade. I met my husband, had my
so
daughter.
cool.
Yeah, it was
I
fun.
love that. Are you still into wine?
Yeah, yeah.
In a recreational way?
Yes, definitely much more on the recreation side. I have like a few, of my like former colleagues that I still am close with. So I know a little bit about what's going on. I don't follow, it's not like a super big hobby of mine. I can speak wine with most people. I'm not a sommelier. Like I'm, I never got into like the like nitty gritty of like how things were fermented and stuff, but I can,
a lot.
I know a lot. I know a lot about it. Yeah, it's fun.
So from there, how did you get to the Monmouth Moms?
I think maybe like 7 or 8 years into that, when I was working in that industry, a lot of it changed. People were buying their wines online. It was a very competitive industry. It's very flooded. It's and a lot of distributors were kind of not cutting out the middleman, but like any margins were just getting tighter and tighter, and our salaries were decreasing. In order to really climb that corporate ladder, you had to take on more territory and really like build your manage more teams and stuff. And I was doing that. I had like a few states at the time, and I just didn't want to travel anymore because, I talk about like my career and like when my son was little and the daycares that he was in, or the one daycare that he went to, it was like the only thing that I could afford. Right.
Yeah.
Because I was young, and I hated sending him there. And it like really just like, it like broke my heart sometimes that like it was like the only option really, because everything else was just like not affordable to me. And then fast forward to a different, circumstance in my life when I'm, married and, making a good living, and my husband's working and stuff. And now we're, my daughter went to a great daycare, but it was still really expensive.
Right.
And not only that, but like just the grind, right? Of every up at 6 a.m. and then picking up at 6:30, and the, coming home, making dinner, rinse and repeat, and the same thing, over
and
again.
it goes fast.
Yeah.
It goes
right?
really fast.
So I did that for a long time when my daughter was little. When I found the opportunity for Monmouth Moms, it was posted in Monmouth County Parents Facebook group. And so backstory, Monmouth Moms is part of a larger organization called the Local Moms Network. It's a resource platform that was started in Greenwich, Connecticut in, I think, 2017. And 2 moms from Greenwich had originally started it, and they just found that there was like a void within the community accessing streamlined information about events, activities, resources, essentially anything that you would need raising a family in their community. And it quickly expanded to additional locations throughout the country. And one that was targeted specifically was Monmouth County. So when I found the opportunity, I really thought that there was going to be a lot of people that were like trying to, you know, to get the business, and no one else did. I was like the only one. It was so weird. So I was like, yes, I want, like, that we so need this. I'd been a mom for like, I guess, a long time at that point. And I just knew that that was like a need, you know, within the community.
Yeah. That's when the best things happen, is out of like a resolution.
Right.
Right.
So I started building it on the side, but at the same time, like I'd say the first 2 years, I really didn't know if it was like something that had legs or not. You know, like whether it was going to be like a side hustle. And I loved doing it. I was always gravitating towards it. Simultaneously, I left the wine industry for about, I'd say like close to 2 years. And I went into software sales. So my husband at the time said, like, you know, if you can sell anything. And like, why don't you go into an industry that's like more, you know, lucrative? So I did that. And it's fun. I talk about this a lot on my podcast, is that like, it was the bane of my existence, and I learned a lot. It was a great team. I loved the company I worked for, but what I sold was it was soul sucking.
Yeah.
For me.
No, I get that.
If you're not into it,
Right.
and you don't resonate with the product, you're not gonna.
I sell title insurance.
But do you like it?
I love people.
Okay.
It's the same thing though. Like, how do I passionately talk about title insurance, right? It's like, yay. But people are getting homes. I'm meeting great people. I have great relationships.
But you can speak like intelligently about title insurance?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So the thing with the
I highly doubt you're going to tell me you couldn't speak highly intelligent about anything.
I could not.
I don't believe it.
If we called up the owners right now,
I don't believe it.
It was not my.
I just
my
sit here
moment.
like you set me up for that. I walked into it, but I'm backing it up.
I'll call my friend Lori right now, of the marketing manager.
This is not phone a friend. You cannot call anybody that would validate that I think that could happen.
It was selling CAD software to engineers, and they don't like change, and they don't like talking.
Yeah.
Problem.
Most of them.
Yeah.
And it was a solution-based sales, and that is something that you really, really need to know and understand.
And you have to identify the problem.
Exactly.
Yes. And if you don't know the software and you don't know the industry,
exactly.
It's very hard to identify that.
I get it.
And if you don't want to know the industry, which was my problem.
Yes.
I was like, I don't care about any of this. I just want to sell it. Like, and not that I didn't want to be like that type of salesperson, but I just really did not like click with the industry. Do you know what I mean?
I totally get it.
So I tried like
it's a lot of info to take in if you're not really feeling it.
Yeah. So, but I will say that it challenged me. It put me in a very uncomfortable position because I felt vulnerable. The company was very like, you know, we had to do these positioning statements where we got up in front of the whole company and like recited like our mission statement, and we had to just like put ourselves in like environments that were like challenging.
Out of your comfort zone.
And at the time, I hated it with every fiber of my being. And now I look at it because of everything that I'm doing with like our the platform with Monmouth Moms and the Summit, and it's it taught me a lot because like, you know, now I didn't know, you always, you know, everything's a stepping stone, and you don't know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. But what I've found is that you can, you know, put yourself in a situation, and if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
Oh, 100%.
So that
if you're not sweating a little bit.
Yeah, because, you know, comfort is comfortable, but you're not going to get anywhere being comfortable.
No, because
stay right where you are.
How often do you not want to get out of your bed because it's so comfortable?
Every morning.
Right.
This morning, for example.
So,
every morning.
So that was kind of it. And then while I was working there, I finally started to see the writing on the wall, and I was like, okay, this needs to end here. But so it was also simultaneously during COVID. And I made the decision to then pursue Monmouth Moms full time. And I never really looked back. I mean, it took me a good 6 months to really make that decision. I was actually working with Stacey.
I remember that.
I was thinking about this morning, like when we were going to see all the houses and stuff, and you were probably just like this lunatic.
No, but I remember when you told me, you're like, I quit and I'm doing Monmouth Moms full time.
That's big.
And that was huge.
I don't think I realized how recent it was.
It was 3.5 years ago.
Your success lends for it to be like, I've been doing this for over a decade. Like
she's worked like she's been doing it for over a decade.
That's impressive.
I
just assumed, it didn't even occur to me that it was that recent that you started doing this.
Yeah.
If you don't know the Monmouth Moms, she has huge events at Bellworks, and they are thousands attended. She has Touch a Truck. We've been a vendor a few times, and
think all but one.
Thousands of families come through. and they have the most like face painting. You just put together balloon arches, magicians. So to do all
It's a
that in
wonderfully run
a
event.
few years is
Not
very
to mention all the
impressive.
resources.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, that you really do. It's not like you're just copying and pasting
No.
and slapping shit on a website. Like, you're not. It's very thoughtfully curated. Like, you really do your research into your vendors and who you're pushing.
Yeah.
Because you want us to have good resources.
Right. No, it means a lot to me to make sure that like that I would use the business. I mean, not every time can I know like, without a doubt that like it's,
No.
the best thing. I
Right.
can't like deep dive into each business, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, like you'd want it to be vetted, like someone, either like has recommended them or you see them pop up a lot in like different parent groups being recommended or just the look, right? Like of how, overall like how they market themselves. And I've also tried to align myself with partners that are, valued within the community as well.
That's a big thing. But I know as a mom, like I'm always the last one to know about events. So now when you come up on my feed, I'm like, I know everything now. Like I was always
The
last
weekend
one.
roundup
I would never
is-
know about like these cute little fun events that I'd be the last one to. I'm like, oh, I would have liked to have done that, but that's what I think you really bring the value for a lot of moms is like, I don't have time to always go to they used to be on municipal sites and stuff, like the coolest of events that as a new mom, you don't even realize that's like happening. And then you're like, I missed out on that. But you fill that void for moms and now you have these huge events. So what was last year like? So this is your third year. 2023 would have been year 3 and you're going on year 4?
So Monmouth Moms will be 6 this year.
Okay.
But full
Monmouth
time.
County, yes.
Yeah. But hosting events, we started in, I don't know if it was 2020 or 2021, the Mom, Me and Me Fair. I forget. Do you remember?
I feel like it was 2021
Yeah, I think
because
so, too.
2020
Yeah.
was COVID.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like a void of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just makes everybody.
But like
think
that would have been
3
May of
years younger,
2020 and we
didn't
were still
happen.
locked down, I think.
Okay. I have to look back because the spring is, I think, my 10th or 11th event. I have to look.
It's crazy.
Jeez.
But
And
they've all
she
kind of
hasn't
built
had a
on
heart
each
attack
other.
yet, which is like
And she shows up. I remember one event, I think maybe the Halloween one. Stacey comes up to me and she's like, I think Kate might have the flu. She's not telling anybody sick because she just needs to get power through this. And I'm like, the flu?
It's happened twice. So it wasn't because I run myself ragged and then I get
it was
sick.
Christmas. It was the holiday event.
It happened this
Holiday?
past- yes.
Yeah.
And then it happened again this past fall. I got sick and I always lose my voice and it's so annoying because I'm trying to talk to everyone and I get so nervous the night before that I don't sleep. So I'm on like 3 or 4 hours
Oh,
of
you're
sleep.
giving me like the
Oh, it's
anxiety
awful.
of that.
But actually this time I like knew that I got through it the last time. So I'm like, whatever, I'll be fine.
I can do this. This is
can
why
do
they made
this.
Motrin. It's fine.
Exactly. So I just like crash sort of even because when you're like so hyped up on like adrenaline,
Yep.
they can barely even come. I'm like, so it takes me a little bit.
You
I
have
don't
to
know.
take off a couple
Yeah.
days and
Yeah.
decompress and
I
just
don't though.
You
But I
don't. You
should.
just keep going.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Wait, so the thing that I also don't know is you guys kind of touched on it, but like how did you two connect?
She started
Advertising.
advertising with me.
That's how you off the bat.
I sent in info at the Monmouth Moms Network, I think.
You're probably like one of our first clients, I want to say, right?
I got like a handful. I
Yeah.
had seen a few Meet a Mom posts.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, these are cool. I'm a mom. Yeah. And yeah, and then we had a quick conversation on the phone. And then I probably didn't give you any content and you had to stalk me for a few days.
That's everyone.
I mean,
it's all of my clients.
All right, good. Phenomenal. And then out of nowhere, I think you called me and wanted to go look for houses.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of hit it off.
I think because like the like insanity that is my life.
Yeah.
Like
But then it was also like you were like, is your last name Walbrol, your maiden name? I think I know your brother. Like it started becoming like a who's
You knew
who.
the same kind of
well, I do.
circles.
We're like I wasn't really friends with your brother, but we hung out in the same circles.
Yeah, they had the same mutual friends.
And then I know what it was. Like my best friend Megan was like, how I saw Stacy
Yes.
on your site, like that's Bill Warborough's sister, and I was like, oh my god, that's so funny.
Yes.
But then I don't know, just kind of, and then also I think like you were kind of building like your real estate career too.
Yep.
Like still because you had been
That
selling for a
was-
few years, right? At that point, not even.
Probably like 2 years in at that point.
Okay. So I think we were both like I don't know,
Figuring it out.
and we're both from Hazlitt.
And we both
just
like
kind of-
wine.
We both like wine.
back to the wine. I see a recurring thing. Maybe that's the universe is saying something.
It is.
Yes.
Your own label this time.
Yes. Oh yeah.
The Monmouth Mom. Oh.
Yeah. It's funny. My it's like a very strange. When I was growing up, it's a really random story, but when I was growing up, I was in fourth grade.
We love
and we went to
random.
this, like my mom's friend's house, and they had a daughter. My name is Kathleen, and they had a daughter also named was Kathleen there, and they called her Cassie. And then I don't know why my mom let me do this. I was like, I love this name. I don't want to be Katie anymore. They called me Katie. I want to be Cassie. So I went to school the next day and like told
everyone you're Cassie.
and it stuck.
Is that why?
Yes.
Okay.
I hate it. I like have tried to get at like it is this whole thing. Still, like I was at what's the Urban Air, the place?
Yeah.
This little kid comes up to me. He's like, "Mom, that's Cassie." I was like, "God damn it!" Like a 5-year-old.
My colleague at work, I think I was on your podcast a few months ago, and Mike was like, "Is that Cassie?" And I'm like, "Who?"
Yes.
I'm like, "No."
Wait, how would a 5-year-old know?
Because like I went to school with her mom.
Oh, okay.
That's so funny.
Yes. So actually, very even funnier story. My son, who's now 20 and lives on his own, has the Jeep that I gave him, and so he drives, and he named it Cassie.
Purposely?
Oh yeah,
I love him.
I know.
I love Shane. He loves to just stick it right in there.
Aren't boys wonderful?
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh, I love it.
Shane's a funny bunny.
The difference between a boy and a girl, I'm sure, is like night and day.
Hysterical. So anyway, when I was selling wine one day, I was like in this random store in Jersey City, and I see this label, and it's Kate and Cassie wine.
Did you buy it?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God.
I hope you took the
hell?
label off it and framed it. That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I
That's
still have
funny.
it. I never drank it because I just wanted to like have it.
Oh,
It was
that's
like
funny.
awful wine. It was like $8 or whatever.
Who
but
cares?
Now it's vintage.
I hope maybe they got better. I just like
Yeah.
trashed them. I don't know. I don't know if they're. It wasn't a big like label. I was like, this is the most random thing on the planet.
Kate and Cassie.
Yeah. So
Was it
that's me.
American wine?
Yeah, it was like California.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't know. Some.
A red? A white?
Yeah, I think they had both varietals,
Oh.
but I had it was
We'll have to
red.
find those Kate and Cassies.
Yeah. I'm going to Google it later.
Google,
now that we have
the internet. Oh my God, we're so old to say that. I don't even know when the internet was born. Did
it's
Al
like-
Gore say he was
he
the one that
invented it.
invented it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when I like Katie Kirk, and I follow her. And she has her own thing, but she always. I don't know if it's every year on the anniversary, but she always does the clip of when they're on the Today Show, and is it Lester Holt? No, it's one of her other colleagues, and they're talking about email addresses.
Oh.
Like when they came out, and they're like, "What is it? Something at?" They're like, "That's weird." They're like talking about like the internet and stuff, and like I don't know.
That's not going to catch on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thing's a fad. Who wants to
So-
know everything anyway?
Yeah,
Now it's like, what's it going to be like in 5-10 years?
I
It's
know.
going to work.
Mike made fun of me last
Bots.
night because he said he saw me panic when I couldn't find my phone right next to me. And I was like, wow, it's finally happened.
Yeah.
I've become my children.
Oh, I'm like that. Without a
It's
doubt.
awful.
Yeah. I just like walk around my house with my phone in my
I
hand.
do as well.
Same.
As though something
That's
horrible
why I
might
got the
happen.
strap, so I can just walk like this now.
Yeah.
It's even
It's sort of
crazier.
killing me that my phone's over there.
I
but
know.
It's fine. It
When
needs
you
to be.
handed it to me, I was impressed. I get nervous with our kids. Like that to me is
Yeah.
always if I don't have a connection to my phone, what if something happens to my kids
Yeah.
and they can't get in touch with me?
Yeah.
But the weird
Right?
thing is that like we were okay.
Oh, I was just going to say that. Yeah.
We
But
made
were
it.
we?
We were.
I don't know. I mean,
I
we're
don't know,
sitting
I
here.
remember waiting outside of like my school, waiting
Same.
for my mom,
Mhm.
like being like a half hour late, and there was just no like communication. Could you
Yeah.
imagine now, like,
The cops would call you.
yeah, probably.
They would call, or they would take your kid in.
And it wasn't like she was neglecting me; she was just picking up like the other two kids
Yeah.
from whatever activity.
But
You
the
know what I
school
mean?
also didn't care.
No.
They just left you out
No.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now they can't.
No.
I was like 30 seconds, sitting in my driveway and messed up the bus time the first day of school, and they wouldn't leave him there.
Yeah.
They have to keep driving, and they just call you until I got pulled over chasing the bus. It was like a whole thing.
You couldn't
On
even
the phone
see the
with
kids
the
at St.
school.
Benedict.
It was great.
There was, I don't know if it's still like that, but there was like the shrubs and then the benches, and there was like a wooden back to it. And that's where you would sit and wait for your mom to pick you up. Teachers wouldn't stand out there. And so no one from the office could see you, and you would just be sitting out there.
Oh, I know where
Like,
that is. I think
alone.
cut it down now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now
but
you can
it's
see
still
the
like
children
there.
that have been
There's a bench
abandoned.
still though. But yeah.
Too funny.
But they're not abandoning it. Now they have to like wait and come
Yeah.
inside, or they're calling their parents all the time. So that's why I freak out without your phone being. And it's also like you're connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too connected. But anyway, what are we going to do about it? We're all addicted now.
And it's going forward. It's only going to get even more. And for me, for my kids, because they use technology in such communication ways, I am forever grateful. So I never look at it as a bad thing, but I understand how other people like to disconnect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Don't disconnect.
how can you? No one's ever. I mean, now we have a business where we're all dialed in all the time.
All the time.
All the time. So what does 2024 look like for the Monmouth Moms?
So I've added something interesting that's kind of an ancillary, I guess, part. I don't even know what you would call it, but to a platform. So we're hosting a summit in April that was born out of, I think, my passion really of like connecting with local moms and working with local business owners, working professionals, organizations that are like really making an incredible impact in the community or on themselves, or, you know, successful women like with like a great story to tell. You mentioned Meet a Mom, but Meet a Mom is an interview that we've always done on our platform, where we interview usually like local mompreneurs or working professionals who will answer questions from us about like their background, you know, kind of similar to what we're doing in this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like, how'd you get started? Because it's really interesting to people about like how.
We'll love it.
Yeah. Like
We love it.
like how you got started and like what drives you, and, you know, how you get it all done. And like, it's always been fascinating to me, like, how do you like your A to Z every day, right? Like,
Yeah.
like what's your routine? Like, you know, I had a functional medicine doctor on my podcast a few weeks ago. And
I
she
saw
was-
that.
Yeah. She was talking
Yeah.
about how her husband is one of those like early risers, 4:30 a.m. gym people.
God.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know.
Couldn't
So
do
there's that person.
I want to be that person.
You want to, but you just like, I think you're just really built for it, or you're not.
Yeah.
And she was saying she's not, but like she's like me. Like, I need 7 hours of 7 to 8, mostly 8, but like I get by with 7. And if I get less than 7, I'm a train wreck. And she was the same way. And she said, like, you know, but I get up at, I forget what time, but like, you know, normal time. And then she does Pilates, and then she goes to work. And like, that works for her. It probably didn't, her children are a little older. So like, it's probably, you know, fits into her schedule
Yeah.
better now. But it's also fascinating to me for like the moms of 3 or 4 right now. And you see them like
How do
doing
they-
Ironmans or whatever. And like, they're doctors. And it's like, how do you do that?
When,
you know?
how,
Yeah.
ever. I
Um,
couldn't.
So I think it's really inspiring. I love to like hear from, you know, all of these different women who are doing incredible things. And I get asked a lot, like, oh my gosh, how are you getting all that done? And like, I don't know really, but like it somehow works, you know? And I think too, like, it's kind of like once you learn how to ride a bike, then it's like second nature. So a lot of like, maybe on the surface, like it looks like I'm doing a lot, but a lot of it is like, I've already learned how to do that. So it's pretty easy to pull like my events now. Not that they're easy to put together,
You have
but
good
they're very
processes.
much like copy and paste.
Yeah.
So I kind of
You
like,
have solidified a system.
Yeah.
Your system,
right.
which is awesome.
Thank you.
Well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
I've been to so many events, and you know where you're going, you know where you're stationed, you know how much time you have. It's very well organized, and you have really cool like add-on things. And every year they just get even more exciting. Like,
Yeah. Well, we always have to add new stuff. Otherwise people won't come. Hopefully.
I don't think people will stop coming. You have a great location,
Yeah.
which is first and foremost. I mean, Bellworks in and of itself has turned into like this little mecca of people just wanting to hang out there. You went there yesterday, right?
Yeah. Took the kids.
Did you?
Walked around.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Well, I had
was
the
nice.
niece. So she's like 2.5, so she can just like run
She
free.
2.5?
Yeah.
God,
I know.
That's what I said.
It flew.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's so freaking funny too.
Aw.
And she's like, the boys just do whatever she wants. So
Yeah.
she made them walk all over, and then we left. But it's cute.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to them like your events and how they set up the whole thing, and yeah, it's
Mom, will you ever
impressive.
take me?
I'm like, because I'm always working now.
Yeah, mom is working. Go home.
See you later.
But your daughter gets to go with you on a lot of cool stuff that
Yeah.
you do. Like I see all of your. That's got to be one of the best parts,
Totally.
right?
We were talking about this yesterday because I was going to Monmouth Museum, but like, yeah, I'm also going because I get to like shoot
Hello,
content.
yeah.
It really does kill 2 birds. So, and she loves it for now. You know, I don't know how many more years I have left of that, but I'm going to have to like maybe take your niece or something eventually.
It works.
Like someone
Yep.
a stand-in, because I don't know if 13-year-old Grace is going to be as open to
You never know.
cozy, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe
I know.
you'll do more preteeny things then.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
But that's another part of why I think this summit and kind of opening up this new chapter, I'd say. I don't know if it's a new chapter, but just like a different, an additional part to like
Yeah.
what we're doing.
I'm so
with,
excited.
Like the next
for working in
phase.
moms. Yeah.
Right? Like the evolution of where the Monmouth Mom, we're all in different stages. I have a 5 and a 6-year-old. You have almost
All of them.
teenager age,
Yeah.
tween. Even you have a little guy though.
7, 11.
So that would make sense that your next event would speak to where you're going as a mom too. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the authentic
I hate you.
drink. If we're drinking, Stacey hates the word authentic.
I hate it.
There's no
Really?
other word.
It's just so overused.
Is it?
I'm so sick of hearing people say, be your authentic self.
Oh.
It's
I
like,
hear that a
it
lot.
like twitches.
I don't
twitch.
say it a lot though.
Good.
I'm glad.
That's
I
why
don't,
we're
we don't
friends.
say, but we've now made it.
Shannon just
drinking
says it
game.
to annoy me.
I don't say. I don't know. Tell me another word. I'll use it.
I don't genuine.
Genuine. You're genuine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I lost my train of thought anyway.
Back on track.
She hates authentic,
I do.
but that's the authentic part of being a Monmouth mom.
Yes.
Is you're actually speaking your truth. Like you're going to these places with your daughter who loves doing these activities, and you get to pretty much, live your best life as far as like being a mom and working
Oh yeah.
and doing it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean it's a double-edged sword. Like sometimes when we got here, I was asking Ming about the office space here because it's hard to turn it off.
Yeah.
And I also feel guilty a lot of the time because I'm present, right? Like it's funny all those years that like I don't know if I love working. I've always loved working. I've always wanted my own business. I didn't really know the steps to get there. A lot of the time I talked about wanting that, but I didn't really like set any goals to actually do it. But that's kind of a separate conversation. But I always love working and I love being a mom, but I'm like Stacey, like we like to work a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that's my fun. Like I really like just doing all the things that like, are
Work related.
that like emotional paycheck they say, right?
Yeah.
It's, like,
100%.
very
It's
gratifying.
accomplishment.
I'll say
Totally.
this though.
It's not just about the money.
I'm in the office all day, every day.
Yeah.
And when I come home, I'm now working at home.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not going to like, we definitely want an office space like of our own for turnkey. I know your like ultimate goal is to have one for Monmouth Moms, but I think it's just a place that's not your home, and then you'll go home and keep working.
Right.
I
Till
think
you
it's
go to
very
sleep.
hard to turn it off.
Last night I was literally well, now I sleep in my daughter's because she has like bunk beds. Because sometimes if like my husband goes to bed, he'll like be up and like if I'm still working. So I brought my like, laptop and my thing, and she's asleep, and I'm like till midnight because I lost so much time over the weekend from being sick. So anyway, but it's not. I'm not like complaining. I love doing it. So like I don't mind. It's fun to me. So what was I even saying?
Oh, we were talking about the summit and how you're gonna. I mean, when we first started talking about it, it was you wanting to provide resources for working moms.
Yep.
And then not more importantly, but in addition, moms who want to get back into the workforce, maybe start their own thing, figure out how to like update the resume that has been sitting stagnant for 10 years, 7 years, whatever, because that's tricky. And I mean, so many people, I have a ton of friends right now that are going through divorces
Yeah.
that haven't worked in 15 years.
Right.
So like, I'm like, come to the summit.
Please come.
Because but I mean, really, like they're going to meet people and they're going to get the resources they need to help them get it together.
Yeah. So the summit is, we're on a mission to help moms pursue their dreams and, build their careers. And it actually started from an idea that my assistant had. I got a lot of requests to do networking events because I've, have this wide network of clients and partnerships and stuff. And I just didn't want to do that because one, I don't have the bandwidth to like take on another thing that would be like monthly or even quarterly. And two, I just didn't want to do like another one because there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that there's an opportunity to like really, come together for one day where we can provide information and resources for the mompreneurs, right? The people that are building their business and hear from inspiring speakers and panelists about how they built their business and they forged their own path. And just, like this one story from one of the moms who's going to be on our panel is like incredible how she built her business 10 years ago. And just this like incredible success story about like every door was shut on her. And it's just like incredible that she kept going and is now like so successful. And really like 10 years, it's a long time, but it's also not.
No. Yeah.
And had she, maybe not continued on with like her goal, that she'd be in a completely different place. So really inspiring stories, but then also the working professionals, the women who are in, corporate America that don't want their own business, but they maybe aren't, climbing that corporate ladder because they are telling themselves no, or that they are afraid that if they go for like maybe the next role that, they won't be as present at home, and that, just have like a lot of negative self-talk. I was offered a position when I worked in wine to start my own, like with a beer wholesaler, and they wanted to expand into wine and spirits, and they wanted me to run that division. And the person who brought the opportunity to my attention did the same thing for another beer distributor. We're good friends, and he said, Kate, you can totally do this. But the opportunity, like I had to move to like where that location was in a different part of New Jersey. It was a great salary. And that was really it. And I really was so terrified of actually doing it because I would be on me about like bringing brands and like setting margins and making sure that these brands were successful in that territory and stuff, and like training everyone. And in hindsight, not that it would have been so easy, but I totally could have done it.
Right.
But at the time I was like, I don't know.
How can I do that?
How can I do that?
That limiting mindset.
Yeah, like I don't think that's gonna work. Then I'd have to move. Like
All the why nots.
Yeah.
You go to the negative space.
So
Instead of the what ifs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have moms on our panel to talk about that. Talk about like how they continue to climb that corporate ladder, and having 3 kids, and just all these great stories. And then also, like you said, the moms who are in a different place in their lives. Maybe they've been out of the workforce. Maybe they've never worked.
Yeah.
Maybe they're in a really crappy relationship and they want to finally be able to rely on themselves. So we'll have a lot of opportunities there for to not only hear from like speakers, but also different breakout sessions or resume building. Our vendor area has kind of become like a like support and resource vendor space where we have colleges coming, we have companies that are hiring, we have
Oh, wow.
financial advisors, we have childcare resources,
I love
au
that.
pairs, like all kinds of stuff. So like actual support, and also there's a lot of like New Jersey grant programs available out there. And I started knowing about this just because they'd reach out to me for my regular events to come to those, to like bring awareness about grant programs for women-owned businesses, grant programs for women in the moms in the workforce. Like there's all these different like grants out there that like you can apply for, and you just need to know like how to access it. So the biggest takeaway, I think, even just from building this event, is that like there's really nothing out there that like is pulling all of these different resources together to like spread awareness about like actually helping moms. Like I'm guilty of this too, like putting a lot of quotes about empowerment and stuff, and like we've forged a great path, and we're doing a lot, in today's, day and age, but there's not a lot of action that's being taken to like help
actionable
support.
steps that are manageable for somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
Because it's really hard. Like it's not easy, like working as a mom,
Yeah.
like all of the different things that are like put on us are just like, at least in my experience, like are just not put on, our partners. And
that's why when you said the doctor's husband could go to the gym at 4:30, and I'm like, well, my husband could go at 4:30 because he's not getting the kids out of bed and getting them ready for the bus. Like he can go wherever he wants.
He can go to the bar.
He can go in the other room without saying, I'm leaving the room right now. Do you hear me? Like he just gets up and goes to the bathroom, Like,
We actually
what a concept.
We actually have a local attorney who's also going to come on, and she specializes in like family law. She does a lot of different things, estate planning, but also, she works with a lot of divorces and stuff. And she's going to come and do a session about the importance of like having a supportive partner and like a health, like marriage and the steps that you can take when you want to be, put yourself in a role that's going to be successful, because it does take a supportive partner to really like help you get there, and kind of being on the same page.
Does she give you steps to make the track to your partner being supportive quicker?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to ask her about that.
Because it took me like a solid, I'd say 4 years to get Mike, who is wonderful, but was not understanding like that his role needed to shift in order for my role to shift.
Right.
But the past like year and a half have really been better.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just takes them a while.
That's
all I've learned.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like 3 years ago, I could have told you Kate and I were moving out. We were going to get a she shed together and run our empires from the she shed.
And he would have been like, okay.
And yep, 100%.
But you know what I find
but
fascinating
now
is
it's
they
like
met
proactive.
us working, right? Well, my husband
but
met
not
me
working like this level.
and then I became a mom.
This level
and
of
that
work is
I
different.
think was
True.
like a change. Was you're a mom now? Like you should worry about the kids. And I'm like, yeah, but they're at school now. Like, I'm not, you think I'm Cinderella? I'm not scrubbing the floors all day long, like whistling while I work. I need to do something. This is just not working.
Yeah,
right.
But there is a shift in their brains that it takes a while to get through.
Yeah.
That
and it's
this
also,
is happening.
It's, you know, I mean, we're really the second generation of the, you know,
working mom.
Working moms.
Yeah.
So it's just been like a cultural shift too. And I think that's another thing that we really have to acknowledge. And there's been talk, probably not for this summit, but we are going to like, you know, engage a little bit more on that because like supporting like our men in our lives and also like our sons too is like important because there has been a big cultural shift and like what does that look like? But
yeah,
that's like a story.
No, that's huge.
Definitely.
I have boys. She has boys. And we always talk about the future is female. And it's like, well, why are you saying that? You have boys. I'm like, who do you think is going to teach these kids? Like we are as women, they're the women that they choose and understanding that you have to be a supportive partner for whoever, whatever they want. Yeah. It's about choice, right?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
And you have the choice to work and be a mom. You have a choice to do one or the other.
And sometimes you don't have
options.
Choice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. But knowing the options, if you wanted that to be your choice, is a big thing. I remember coming back into it. I thought it was going to be so easy to work again. And I'm like, everything's different. I was in real estate so long before that. Things weren't the same. Flow of business was different. I felt like a fish out of water. Mm-hmm. And it would have been really helpful I feel like you became my business development coach along the way. And like got me, but like you learn the way, but to have resources and to have somewhere to go, it doesn't exist. So what you're doing is going to help a lot of moms.
Hope so.
A lot. No, it
is.
I can't wait to hear this information. And I feel like I'm in a place where I'm pretty good about things, but you can't stop learning. You can't stop growing because you want to scale things and you want to move up. And that's obviously what you're doing. We thank you so much for coming in today. I said to Stacey, I'm like, Kate's going to sit in the podcast. It's like a celebrity here because you are. You're an influencer. Like you do understand that you're an influencer. You're very humble, but it's in a way that is so authentic.
It freaked her out the first time I was with you. Remember, where were we? French Market? And the girl was like, are you the mom?
Oh, right. Tell the story. This is good. This is good. Yeah.
She was like, are you the Monmouth Mom? Kate was like, I could never leave the house not looking good ever again.
And I still, like, it happens a lot now. And I'm like, damn it. One day I'm going to remember to, like, not leave the house looking like
you
crap.
always look
Oh, my God.
You do.
Please. But I think that's the best part about you is you're a real mom. I'll use the word real.
Thank you.
You're a real mom working hard and you're a testament to what happens when you can do it all, right? As a mom, you can work hard, you can be a good mom, you can marry the two if that works for you. Mm-hmm. But the Monmouth Mom Summit will be on April 11th at Bellworks, and tickets are on sale. Tell everybody where they can get them.
You can get them at themomouthmoms.com. It's under shop. It's like kind of a different site, but go to themomouthmoms.com and it's like on the top right. You can hit shop. Also, like in the link in our bio at the Monmouth Moms on Instagram, you can go directly there and grab your tickets. And then also use code TMM10 for 10% off, a little special discount for listeners today.
Yay.
Perfect.
Well, thank you. And we obviously can't wait to be there.
Yes.
I know we're going to learn so much.
Yes, you're MCs.
We
didn't
are.
talk about that.
You're MCs. We are.
I'm almost like, you talk about the imposter syndrome. Like that was the feeling when she's like, yeah, she wants you guys to MC. And I'm like,
us?
No, I thought it would be awesome.
It's going to be amazing.
We're going to have the best.
Wait. But you remember the talks of self-doubt, right?
Oh, yeah. We're going to rehearse.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
Do all that.
It'll be fun. Yes.
Figure it out.
It'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. No, it's going to be great. There's going to be plenty of resources. So if you're a mom and you're either thinking about it, you are in it, or you're working at this time, definitely get your ticket for Kate's Monmouth Mom Summit and check out our Instagram for the Monmouth Moms. And again, thanks, Kate, for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun. Thank you.